HopCast.
Thanks for coming back, everybody.
I'm Brett Chmielewski.
My name is Ken Honebeater.
Special
guest!
guest!
What? Oh, I'm Jake Williams.
Welcome.
Oh, convenient enough.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been about 2 years, I
We're
feel like.
inside, not on a couch.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a couch in a yard, which was very strange.
Yeah, it's nice seeing how far my living quarters have come.
We moved inside.
At this point, I used to sleep on alley couches. Now I have a dining room.
Moving up.
Your car was on cinder blocks in the yard.
That's right.
Spent all your money on craft beer.
That's not a bad way to go, but you know.
You brought us a couple beers.
Yeah.
From the great state of Maine.
I did, and I wore this fancy Allagash hat just for this.
You're
for
just
this
like
very
a
reason.
total homeboy.
Damn.
I know, full disclosure, do not work for Allagash, but I just love everything about Maine because I'm from Maine.
All right.
Yeah.
And
Do you want to talk more about Maine?
yeah, what else?
Pine trees, awesome, right? Pine cones, those are great too.
What state tree?
Pine tree.
Oh,
It's a pine tree state. Yeah. No, so I
State cone.
State cone. Street cone. No, so I went home around Christmas time or Thanksgiving to visit some of my folks, and so went on the Allagash Brewery tour, which I'd never actually gotten to go to. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, about a big portion of it was closed because they were expanding production. As we know here in Chicago, we get tons of Allagash White. It's one of their bigger markets, actually. So, and they had a couple of these beers in the brewery, and it was just a really fun trip. Really experiencing some new stuff from them.
Yeah, I know people from Indiana, when they come to Chicago to try beers, people are like, get Allagash White.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get it. So try that.
It did seem strange where they said they had obviously Maine and New England pretty much, but then some in California and then some here.
Yeah, their distribution is really like kind of spread out randomly. It's sporadic across the country. I mean, I'm thrilled that we're one of the markets that they're in because I love Allagash White. You were saying off camera that that's like 80% of their
80% they make
volume.
Allagash White for sure.
That's incredible.
That's nuts. That's crazy.
And then they've got like a tiny amount. I mean, for me, I see Allagash White everywhere, and I assume they're a bigger brewery. I think they do like 17,000 barrels a year.
They're pretty small.
Really small.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, thank you so much for bringing some of these cool kind of one-off type things.
Yeah, so we got the Farm to Face ale. This one's brewed with peaches.
It's like a peach. Yeah, it's a lot of fruit. Apparently, a little bit sour. It's really low. I think it's like 5.6, 5.7. But they do this sort of series once in a while where they just do it one time ever, and that's what this is. And so I'm glad I was able to grab a bottle while I was home.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then the Hugh Malone is their Belgian style IPA.
Yep, I think it's the tribute series they do every year, and they make it a little bit different every year. So I've actually only ever had this one, so I don't know what to expect from other years.
Did you have it on draft or was it in bottles?
I did. It was on draft along with white and then a few other beers. Some of the like really fruity, interesting beers that I think are things they only make one off in the brewery, and you can only get them there.
All right. Well, guest choice. Which one would you like to open first?
Let's do the Hugh Malone.
All right.
For sure.
Perfect.
We got a very pretty beer there. Pretty heady though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, I mean, we talk about fluffy head a lot on this show, and this has got to be one of the most fluffy, almost quiet, cloud-like. I mean, it looks like you're on an airplane looking out over the clouds.
Yeah. Look at those bubbles. Like they're all like almost perfectly sized, and I don't know.
They just stack on each other like Tetris. Yeah. I mean, Allagash does a lot of bottle conditioning stuff like that. They obviously have the cork and cage, so you're going to get a little bit more. I mean, these bottles are thicker; they stand up to a little bit more pressure. I think you're going to have a little bit more carbonation on some of these beers. So their beer usually looks really inviting and nice and fluffy like this.
And so we got slightly cloudy, but like yellow, golden color there.
Right. And I think this is something they were saying on the tour. Is I'm sure a lot of breweries did this. Is like back in '95 when they started making beer, people didn't want their cloudy beer. They thought it was dirty almost. It wasn't, the beer they were used
finished.
To. Until early 2000s when we all started going nuts over trying different beers and that kind of thing. And that's how the small brewery sort of succeeded, I guess, at that point by doing what they do best.
It's still something about super clear, clean beer.
It's like it's to style. You look at a beer like Allagash White. It's a Belgian wit beer. It's supposed to be cloudy. An American IPA, you would expect it to be nice and clear.
Sure.
It's a different take when you're talking about Belgian styles because they're a little bit more rustic and that sort of thing. Yeah. I don't think they do any sort of like filtration or anything at Allagash. It could be wrong. Maybe a centrifuge, but not actual filtration. So, it's just that's what they focus on. They focus on all Belgian beer at Allagash, so that's what you come to expect.
Yeah,
I'm getting thirsty.
I am too.
For sure.
It's like boring myself talking
Cheers.
about
Oh
this.
my gosh, beer talk.
Mm.
I feel like as soon as I started to taste it, I've tasted that before.
Like very
that's
similar,
something, I don't know if it's an Allagash thing or just another beer reminded. Like my brain was like, "Oh, you're drinking this," like, instantly.
Yeah, so this is their take on an IPA. So obviously they're still using their Belgian house yeast, so Belgian style IPA. But they've got 4 different American hops in this. There's Cascade, Centennial, Mosaic, and Galaxy. So very American in that respect, but very Belgian in probably the rest of their process.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think they've done a nice job of marrying those two together. It's not like you have your base beer here and then there's just hops, like crazy hops over here. They kind of marry very well together.
I feel like it was probably a Haymarket beer. That's what I'm tasting in my head.
It makes sense. It's like a hoppy
Sure.
Belgian beer.
Yeah.
You know?
Like an Angry Birds or something like that.
Yeah.
And just, all right, yeah.
Yeah, I think simplifying it to like Allagash's version of an IPA is how I took it on, for sure, how I took it on the tour.
And it's something that they don't
yeah.
usually play with that well.
Oh.
They don't make like hoppy styles particularly, but they've done a nice job with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's another good Belgian IPA? Besides Haymarket, people here know a lot of Haymarket beers.
Yeah, I mean
but
that's kind of what I think of when I'm thinking Belgian IPAs or hoppy Belgian beers.
Penrose at this point, yeah. But,
yeah, at least locally, you immediately think Haymarket. Nowadays, yeah, you're right. You've got Penrose out there making some stuff. I would definitely look towards both of those if you're looking for something like this.
yeah, even Salmot does a couple Belgian IPAs.
Yep.
I guess you see them a lot. It's just like I don't know if it's just a common style or maybe it's something people enjoy playing with both sides of that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know about like if there's like a big production run beer. Like maybe I'm just not thinking of it right now, but I can't really think of a big bottle release Belgian IPA.
It's probably a Stone. Will Stone do one?
Yeah, they have some.
Yeah.
Or Belgo IPA.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could be close. I don't know.
Huh.
I mean, not even like Firestone kind of keeps them separate. If they're doing Belgian, it's usually like more sour or saison.
Sure.
And then they also make fantastic hoppy beer, but
Sure.
usually don't mix them together.
Yeah. Does this taste like what it tastes like on tap? Like
I gotta
similar?
say, I remember it being amazing on tap, and maybe it's because I was just in the
now it's
experience. And it's not
pretty
bad. I
bad?
still actually like it, but I'm glad I was able to actually pick some up and try it because I don't know how often they do this or what type of style they do for their tribute every year.
Okay.
So
Well, you had to
For
taste
sure.
it when it's absolutely
Yeah.
probably can't get any fresher than that.
yeah, this had a plane ride and whatever
Right.
else in my luggage on the
That
way
makes a big difference with
Sure.
hoppy styles. So yeah, it was probably drastically different, but yeah, it's still
still
tasting
fan-
great.
yeah, it's still good.
I love this beer.
Well, cheers. Let's finish this up and then put some fruit in our face. All right, that was great.
Very
Very
good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Still a little bit left. I feel like that's not going to waste.
no,
We'll come back around to it, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Let's go to the farm to face.
Yeah.
Farm to face. I feel
First
like
of all, I
keep-
love that name. That's hilarious.
I keep thinking I'm gonna mess it up. Like it's not correct. Like,
No, that's it. Farm to face. So this was a beer that they had on display as they only make it one time. I think they do these experimental beers once in a while, and this one
the
they
only bottle. This was the one.
I bought the one they had left.
No, the one that they made
yeah,
ever.
But it was only on sale for a little while longer, so I thought, hey, I'll try it. You know, they've never made it before. This one's supposed to be very influenced by peaches. A lot of like, I think they let it sit basically in nature is kind of how they described it. I don't know if they brew it out in the woods or they brew it in like where they brew it. What exactly they
Did
do
you
with
think
it?
of the
But
President's song when you bought this beer?
no. What?
Millions
Wait,
of
millions
peaches.
of peaches? Yeah.
Peaches for me.
Now I do.
She's lump. She's lump.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So we got a similar color looking beer, maybe more on the like lighter yellow hue than the Hugh Malone. But no head.
Less head on this one.
Yeah.
Usually that has to do with in beers like this. I mean, this was aged with some bacteria and some wild yeast, so sometimes that can kill your head a little bit.
Okay. Man, this aroma.
It's like super sour.
Yeah. No, you have to put it in a glass. I'll just smell it from here.
Yeah, you can. There's some acid in there. There's a lot of funkiness too.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like some of the aromas that you get. Some of those off of some of those like Belgian goose beers, like really, really rustic and true to form.
Mm-hmm.
This one was not aged in their cool ship. It says this is 100% stainless.
What's a cool ship?
Excuse me. Allagash is one of the few that has one of these, but it's like pretty much a flat dish, and you essentially put your wort in there, and whatever's in the air is pretty much what ferments the beer.
Okay.
So very much true to form to like, Belgian breweries that started these styles. They would just let the
fermentation kind of
right.
thing. Okay.
They're kind of playing up on that theme, I guess, of using some of the local stuff around the brewery as well. Yeah.
Is there a cool ship you went on the tour? Is it like in its own area, like away from other stuff?
I don't think we were able to
think
see
you saw
this
that.
just because it was about winter time, so they didn't have a ton of it open, and about half of it was
But yeah, they
closed.
do have their own little like, it looks like kind of like a log cabin, I think, type of thing.
Okay.
Where it's small, but it's its own little isolated.
Because we've talked
thing.
about before, like you sometimes want that stuff like way in another room because it could just infect your whole brewery.
Mm-hmm.
Or in Michigan State, the entire state. Funky beers for a while.
I mean, they have a whole line of beers called their like Cool Ship series,
Okay.
where they have beers come out of that program.
Oh, cool.
But,
I don't think I've had any of those. Or yeah,
they're pretty cool.
Okay.
They're very cool, actually. But
That's hence the name.
but they're adding I think this was like lactobacillus and Brettanomyces. Maybe I think they said pediococcus as well. So a bunch of different like souring and or funky producing strains.
Okay.
So smells really, really good.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
New.
Yeah, real tart.
Yeah.
Whew.
They were lying when they said sour, for sure.
That's like lemon juice tart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, lemon head. But yeah, it did smell like more barnyardy.
Right.
Man, that tartness. Yeah, you bit into a lemon.
Right. I think the peach just kind of softens it a little bit.
For
It's
sure.
like we needed the peach to
But still,
kind of level those out.
the peach was an afterthought. It was actually...
It is sour as hell. I mean, this is...
Wow.
Someone's face literally sucked in. Like, add peaches to that.
So they used 10,000 pounds of lemon heads in this? Is that...
Yeah, but if you like sour beers, I mean, this is pretty killer.
Yeah, I haven't had a super sour beer in a long time.
Yeah.
This is one of the more sour beers I've had in a little bit.
I feel like most of the sours I've ever had tend to be a little bit more sweet, and so it's like a buffer to make it. Yeah, you kind of like sours or something.
Yeah.
You know, but
This is bone dry.
this is quite tart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not prepared for this.
Yeah, after you drink it, there's like no taste left in your mouth. Just like your mouth is kind of
Just
sour
that, yeah.
feeling,
Right.
and it's like, what did I just have?
Yeah.
It's weird.
I dig this. Quite a bit.
So do you know what each of the bacteria do? The lacto versus the...
Lacto and pedio are going to create sour, and Brett will create funkiness. So they have kind of a nice mix in there.
So is it like similar, like you put bread in later for like more of aroma, like you do for dry hopping, or is it in there the whole time? It just happens to...
You typically do it, it's a secondary fermentation, so you'll ferment with whatever strain of, maybe it's just your house ale yeast or whatever, and then you'll introduce these different wild yeast to kind of condition the beer.
Right.
So by that we mean like sour it or make it funky, but most of the work is done by that primary yeast strain. Now there are beers out there that are 100% Brettanomyces, 100% lactobacillus,
Okay.
but they do take a little bit longer.
Do you think they use one of those in the first initial...
My guess would be
strain?
no, but yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then plus you have, like with the peaches, I'm assuming they're using, fresh peaches. This is farm to face.
Right.
So you're assuming that it started on a farm somewhere. Yep. You've got all the different bacteria and yeast that are on the skins of those fruit. Usually they don't clean them or anything. They just like throw them in and let whatever's living on the fruit kind of condition the beer as well.
Okay, you think they did that way rather than like blending it with peaches afterwards?
I would assume that they let the peaches. I mean, this is 100% stainless, but I assume they put those peaches in at some point later in the process, but like let it ferment with the beer and with all those different bacteria and yeast strains.
All right.
I love it. I think this is fantastic.
Well, cheers for Allagash for experimenting, taking a brewery and just trying to do things. And I'm always up for supporting a good old Maine company.
And thank you for bringing this. This is really nice of you. That's awesome, man.
Love it. Thank you. Cheers.
And thank you for watching.
Cheers, guys.
Later, boners.